What's up, MetaNerds? This video will be a breakdown of the variants of the LAAT. We'll do size comparisons and see the history of their use in the Grand Army of the Republic, and end on some behind-the-scenes facts. Each of them were manufactured by Rothana Heavy Engineering, the same people that made the Acclimator, ATTE, and SPHA. And Rothana was a subsidiary of Kuat Drive Yards, who made just about every other vehicle for the Republic. These transports were all a part of the LAAT line that had several different variants. The LAAT-I, for Infantry, was the most well-known, bringing 30 passengers and 4 speeder bikes, and packing a punch with 2 forward-facing ball turret light laser cannons, as well as one in the rear, 2 manned composite beam turrets, and then 2 on the wings, along with 4 air-to-air missiles under each wing, and then a pair of 2 mass driver launchers. But if you needed to be more discreet, there was the LAAT-S, for Stealth, which was used for deep behind enemy lines missions, containing a coating to make it less detectable to sensor arrays, and was modified to be more suited for spacefaring, and came equipped with a hyperdrive. This was mostly used by elite clone squads like Commandos and ARCs, and the only incident that we have details from come from a mission to the separatist-occupied planet of Tehran. This world had incredibly volatile weather conditions, and after an abrupt change in atmosphere, this craft was forced to make a crash landing. And the surface of Tehran was not much better, as they were quickly greeted by a Rogwart, one of the few beasts that is more ferocious than a Rancor, and was that same species kept as a pet by General Grievous. The team of troopers, commandos, and Republic special agents were able to kill it, and instead of letting this secret stealth variant fall into enemy hands, they made sure to pack it full of explosives and blow it to pieces, forcing themselves to find another way off-world. The LAAT-V, for Vehicle, modified the trooper area to instead carry 16 74Z speeder bikes, 4 times the standard version. And while the standard variant technically could travel through space, it was not built for this role. It could only be done for short times while requiring a containment shield generator to keep oxygen in and space environmental factors out. And that's where the simply titled Space Gunship variant comes in. These replaced the bubble turrets with these floodlights, and the doors were completely sealed off from space. The ion engines had to be upgraded, as the standard LAAT-I could not go from atmosphere to outer space, though it could descend from space to the surface. Because the LAAT-I could not overcome most planets' gravitational pull, instead it would have to link up with the Acclimator to then be shuttled to their next location, or shuttled into space where it could make the jump from Acclimator to Venator. But this variant cuts out all those complicated steps. Now the LAAT-C, for Carrier, is the most common variant, which could be used to carry a single ATTE, Republic Troop Transport, Saber Tank or Falchion Tank, PX-4 Mobile Command Base or Forward Command Center, or 4 ATXTs. While the Infantry variant was 85,000 credits, the Carrier was more than twice that at 175,000. It had the same top atmospheric speed at 620 km per hour or 385 miles per hour, which is just a bit faster than the HMP droid gunship. Achieving this same top speed with a much heavier load is a testament to the upgraded ion engines. These are also improved with a medium-range communications to make sure that their relief could be coordinated with the Acclimator in atmosphere and the commanders on the ground, as well as the other LAAT-Cs and LAAT-Is in the AO. It was also lengthened considerably, from 17.69 meters or 58 feet to 28.82 meters or 95 feet. Making it about 64% larger, or more than 2 ARC-170s. This would also see changes to the armament, losing all of the composite beam bubble turrets and mass driver launchers, but added another aft light laser cannon, while keeping the forward ball turrets and 4 anti-armor rockets, allowing the 3-man crew to lay down fire against light targets while completing their delivery. Which wasn't always vehicles, but could be aid in the form of munitions, food and water, or medical supplies, while also being used to remove things from the battlefront, be it enemy craft that Command wanted to examine for extracting intel from their droid brain, or simple natural barriers like boulders and vegetation, rubble from destroyed buildings.
The tank lifters are here to move the debris as ordered, General.
Or in the most unique case, the removal of a Zillo Beast. While some stats say it could carry 40 tons, I think that's just based on the ATTE, as that's the exact weight of the walker. And if we look at the removal of the Zillo Beast, just 4 of them were able to move a 60,000 ton beast. So a single one should move something around 15,000 tons. Like with most Republic craft, they did see some use in the Empire during the time of transition, where they would be seen transporting K-79 S-80 Imperial troop transports and RTT-04 armed troop transports. This Imperial era would also see the successor, the MAAT, or Multi-Altitude Assault Transport, which added an extra set of wings for more lift, spacefaring engines, and armor-plated turrets instead of energy shielding. And this craft would also serve alongside the IDT, or Imperial Dropship Transport, which had 2 mass driver missile launchers and a pair of light laser cannons. But although it was only an Ewok shorter, it lost nearly half the passengers, from 30 down to just 18. So that's it for these LAAT variants, but you definitely want to hear these cool facts and behind the scenes stuff. The predecessor to the LAAT line was the VAATE, or Variable Altitude Assault Transport Enforcement, used by the Coruscant Security Force, which introduced the mass driver launcher and had dual heavy laser turrets. It was 1.5 times the length while only carrying half the passengers. When the LAAT was made for the Clone Army, this came full circle with the variant the LAAT-LE, or Law Enforcement model, that was less armed but would remain in service everywhere from Coruscant to Lothal, all throughout the Imperial era as well. Many of these stats come from the incredible cross-sections books, the Clone Wars Campaign Guide, Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels, and Galaxy at War, while the MAAT appeared in the PS2, PSP, and Wii versions of The Force Unleashed, while the IDT was in other versions, with the VAAT coming from Star Wars Bounty Hunter. The real-world inspiration for the LAAT comes from the Mi-24 Hind, while the carrier would be something like the S-64 Sky Crane and Chinook variants, which could carry all sorts of vehicles and objects. And for stealth helicopters, there are things like the RAH-66 Kamachi, and even modifications that are made to Blackhawks, like those used during the Osama raid, which were quieter and had radar scrambling materials. But that's it for all the variants of the LAAT. The best ways to help me out are to hit that like button, leave a comment, and share it with somebody who might want to see it. All those really help promote in the YouTube algorithm, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. You can check out the affiliate links in the description to see MetaNerdz merch with all kinds of clothing and stickers, discount links to metal print art from Displate, and free Star Wars audiobooks from Audible. You can also see our Patreon and PayPal, and special thanks to our supporters over on Patreon, especially our $25 tier, Chris Garcia, Cass Costello, Matthew Beltrami, and Bill Payne. But most important of all, remember, if you're in the market for a heavily armed flying minivan, there are a ton of options to choose from, and the Force will be with you, always.